planted.
What's good, everybody? Long time no see. We're back already. I mean, who would have thought? We took 2 weeks off. Now we're already pumping out another one. Obviously, I'm Baby Bay. I got my boy Frost here, the co-host, of course, or host. Doesn't even matter. We don't even care. Anyways, this is an emergency podcast, yo. We're talking about game changers because we forgot to talk about it in the last time. / we didn't really have the time because Mr. Producer over here has World of Warcraft raids that he's got to attend to.
Hey.
Oh shit!
Call me out like that.
Yeah, I'm just playing, bro. I'm just playing. You've been available for way more than us, bro. We've been hella busy ducking you, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just want to talk about game changers. Obviously, it's not over yet, but it's nearing the end. Bro, we got like what less than a week left in it.
Yeah,
and we've got some crazy things that have already happened. I mean, the most obvious one is, FlyQuest kind of just already being knocked out. I'll just, and Steve, if you want to pop up the bracket, you can. Like, we just go over it real quick. Like, obviously we got Crew Blaze that took out Zeta, which is really important because we're going to get to that later. And then, we had Ambitious Legend Gaming kind of just get smacked around by Team Falcons Vega. And Shopify, who, smacked around Team Falcons Vega right after they smacked Ambitious Legends Gaming. So Shopify still showing that they're probably the favorites. Yeah, I expected G2 Gozen to be this, like, insane super team going into this, especially with Vanya. But, I mean, we already saw, some cracks in the armor, like that series against Crew Blaze. I mean, they won, but
close.
It easily could have gone the other way, right?
Yeah.
And that's no diss to Crew Blaze. They've actually been playing out of their mind. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
you expect more. Like, you expect, especially for a team that's supposed to compete with a team like Shopify, you expect dominance up until that matchup, right? Especially in a tournament setting like this. But yeah, I mean, MIBR, they look great. There was only one close map that they played. That was that Pearl map, which, by the way, I kind of like seeing Pearl again. That's like a whole nother conversation, though.
Yeah.
But what have you thought so far? Like, what have been like your series that you've really enjoyed the most and excited?
Probably FlyQuest Zip, though. I thought, unfortunately for FlyQuest, they look like Talon, where they just threw everything possible. Like, every single round that they should have had, they just completely threw, starting with, like, I think it was very early, a 3v2 retake on defense, and it just, man, it was so bad. I mean, at one point, Zipto they ran out of, it was a post plant. They ran out of a smoke in CT. I think they wrapped around. They ran out of a smoke CT, killed 3 with a deagle on an eco, basically on a sheriff eco. Which at this point I'm not even sure that's a hard eco anymore. But so many teams are doing that, right? But like, yeah. So it's like, I mean, but that series was really back and forth. I mean, the first map was a complete wash. Like on Pearl, they got destroyed, FlyQuest. But then the next 2 maps was like you could definitely see this team or these teams are very evenly matched. I thought that to me was the best one. Everything was pretty much like a 2-0 except for the last map on the G2 versus Crew game, which was kind of crazy. But that was my game. I mean, another one too is that of FlyQuest because Suzu, that was her coming out party.
Oh.
Aaron Boy, who was with me at Talent last year, I'm pretty sure he was playing ranked with Suzu or something. And but basically he was talking about how good she was. I'd say like from like January of this year all the way on. So it's funny for me to now see her, go through FlyQuest, put everybody on her back.
Literally.
And be what Aaron told me she was. That's kind of surreal. Having watched that series, that series was literally her just saying, "Yo, get on my back. Like we're not losing. I got this." Sucks for Sonder and for FlyQuest that they always seem to have some issue going into champs. For instance, Sonder was sick and couldn't play the last game, and not having Sonder is a big deal because I think she's, in my opinion,
and
their best player
to that roster as well.
So
like with the impact that she gives, not only with the fragging, but the comms and everything.
Yeah, so it sucks, but at the end of the day, it does not matter.
Something that's funny that we wanted to talk about on the last podcast, I think, because I think we already had seen the first match by then, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe we were just talking in DMs. But you were saying you were surprised at the pace that NA teams, well, specifically it was FlyQuest, at the pace that they were playing at against Zipto.
Yeah.
Because you were like, wait a second, I thought NA is supposed to be the team that's kind of chilling out a little bit, playing more like methodical. But then you saw Zipto, who you would traditionally think is like the Schmieg run it down. I had Enery telling me last year at GC that she was like a big fan of my playstyle and et cetera, like that, So it's kind of funny, huh? Like how that's happened.
Yeah, on Sunset they just flew. Probably a game plan thing, right? Like Thea also probably saw something she could exploit, and they just went at it. I was surprised. I got some shit for it on Twitter. Surprising, right? Because their coach, so Zeta's coach said the funniest shit. And I don't know if it was the coach or the interpreter. Like, how these interpreters sometimes are like troll.
Yeah, they could get it a little bit mixed
up. Yeah. So basically he was like, oh yeah, we were surprised by their pace. And I'm like, wait. He was surprised that an NA team that played fast versus Zipto would also play fast versus you, but also, more importantly than this, Zipto is, in my opinion, the fastest team in GC, and it is not even close.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said earlier. Yeah. I was like, hold up, that last series, the FlyQuest one was just interesting. I was like, what?
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I think, I definitely think FlyQuest played a little faster. I think though, and this is no disrespect to Lace, because I think Lace is really good. This is just a practice problem, of like not having that down. But it was very Talon-esque because FlyQuest had such advantage and such leads, and to ultimately lose to one player basically going, yo, fuck this. I was very surprised by that. I was also very saddened by that. But at least now we all get to see, another threat, because Suzu,
oh my goodness,
is playing like probably, I don't want to say the best player in the tournament, but at least is having the most surprising impact of anyone that, right? Because it's easy to be like, oh yeah, Flor, yeah, but like we all knew, kind of expected.
You know what you're gonna get out of Flor, like no matter what, complete dominance. It's very rare you see Flor have an off game. I mean, it happens because it's inevitable. Like you're gonna see Ospas have a rough game here and there as well.
Yeah.
But for me, you know what kind of vibes I'm getting from this run so far, and we already seen it, at Champs. I'm getting some Kang vibes right now out of Suzu, bro.
Fair.
I think this could be a crazy run.
Fair. And dude, I gotta tell you, watching Ascent, I was shocked because I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Bruh.
I'm trying to be as fair as possible, but when you look at the 4 other players on Zeta, I'm not sure they were ready to be in that server. I mean, just the tactical mistakes, first off, were so bad. Small example, they didn't know how to deal with the deadlock trip on Cat, or like not in Cat, it's basically in Tree Room. Right? So like if you saw how comical it was for them to try to like clear it or like try to deal with it, you'd be like, wait, what? I mean,
they're winning, son.
Dude, but it's because Suzu, that's my point, was her performance was so not only impactful, but like was so dominating that she could literally backpack an entire roster, do that. Because I feel like in most normal cases, even if FlyQuest weren't playing well, they still win off the sheer fact that the team looked like they couldn't even get tree room, bro. Like they just couldn't die. I mean, you know better than anybody. If you can't split A, you make it so easy for the defense not to defend, right? And then if you can't split B, it's the same. So for Suzu to be able to do what she did in the way that she did it, I think it just, to me, it highlighted the performance even more because I was just dumbfounded by, I think, how late the alert timing were, some of the tactical mistakes on not being able to clear out the util, not really baiting things correctly, walking into high-low setups. Like, dude, it was nuts. The fact that they won, I was both shocked and it was just crazy. It seemed like everything that could go wrong for FlyQuest went wrong, but most of it really was the pressure Suzu put on them. She would just break a round open, and then from there, it's just like, oh man, it
was crazy. And
dude,
you know what?
It was nuts.
FlyQuest on that sunset map as well. Like it all went south when they got ecoed. Like on that second half, I was like, dude, no, this can't be happening, bro. This can't be happening.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, the truth is though, I think FlyQuest, they're just gonna be pissed off about sunset because I actually felt like
they had it, bro.
Man, I felt like some of the mistakes they were just making were just trollers. But again, they're playing with lace and they're playing with the 6-man now.
Happens.
And it changes everything when that happens. But
the whole dynamic can switch. Like if one person's maybe not on the same timing even, like that's the nitty-gritty of it.
Yeah, and that's another that's another, that's another showing from Suzu because if I remember correctly, she basically just owned that map too.
Yep, 30 bomb.
So yeah, so it's just like, I mean, it was an incredible performance. Like I was so shocked by.
You know what I was shocked about? Like I was shocked that after because low key like that, I think that sunset could have gone either way depending on like a couple of rounds, like you said, if they had not been thrown.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed with at the start of Ascent how Zeta just goes aggro off the rip. Pushes all the way through mid on that pistol round on their defensive side on the last map, elimination match, and they just off the rip of the last map, they just go for it. Super aggressive style, damn.
No, yeah, man, it was crazy,
alpha
for sure, and I think Suzu felt it, and I mean, outside of Flor and Starbound once or twice. I don't think I've seen performances like this where, like, GC to me, most of the time I watch it, you definitely see more team performances, especially over the men in VCT. I feel like
I agree.
VCT, I don't want to say it's like high roll, but like VCT is like, in most cases, someone takes over the game.
Yeah.
Right? To
Or
memory.
even they'll just use their mechanical skill to like bail their team out. Even
right.
Yeah,
right. So in some ways, I think GC is more fundamentally sound than at least, especially what I see in APAC, VCT. It's like way more fundamentally sound.
Yeah,
like across the board, you can see they like care about that.
Yeah, if you watch the mini map when you're watching GC. It makes sense, bro.
Yeah.
Even in an A, sometimes when I'm watching the mini map, like I'm just like, bro, like these timings don't really. It's not a timing. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But they make it work because it's like
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Honestly, NA has some really good talent.
Yeah, but what Suzu did was not that. Suzu did like what you would see out of like names, Jargemo, Premi, like Flor, like that's what I like. I wasn't ready to see that. Like I didn't expect that. So to watch it happen live, round after round after round, you're just like, oh my, this is tough. And the thing is, it's not that Dodo played bad either, because like It felt like on Sunset, Dodo got like every first blood. Like, can you check the numbers? What was Dodo's first bloods on that Sunset? Because I felt like she was just
3.
right. What was Suzu's?
Suzu's was 3 to 4.
Right. That's my point. Okay.
Mhm.
Right. So that's what I felt watching it. Like they had every. This is what I'm saying. They're Talon. They played like Talon, which scares the shit out of me because I had nothing to do with this performance. Like, and it's just like I'm watching myself. But yeah, man, it was. I felt like Dodo basically put them in a 5v4 a lot, and they just almost never converted. And I was just stunned by this. I couldn't believe it. And then, with all due, I have no problem saying this publicly because I'm cool with Thea. Me and her are gonna have some. We have to have some talks about this because I felt like they slipped on every opportunity. Example, when the enemy had ults, I felt like they weren't even paying attention to what the fuck was going on. Because especially Suzu just got so much value out of her Raze rock. It's like, guys, hello. So yeah, I felt bad for them in that way. Felt happy and both surprised by Suzu. You know, because like, man, this is the thing most people just won't. Aaron was telling me about her, bro. Like she was like a demon haunting his like dreams. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, she's next. She's good, bro. Watch. So it was so surreal seeing that, and I can't overstate that. That he kind of predicted this like way long ago. He's like, yo, she's the truth, bro. And then I get to see it live, and I'm just like, oh fuck. So
He's got a good eye for talent, that guy, man.
yeah, bro. I think on Sunset Suit, bro. Oh, the talent nightmares, bro. On Sunset, I think they get eco too first half, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Bro, if you look at it, they should have started that map off 7-0.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And
They're
yeah,
just
it just comes back like that.
bro.
It just comes back just like that. It's so quick, man.
Bro, that was my whole last year, bro.
Yeah.
It's tough, bro. Tough.
Yeah. They win the pistol on defense, and yeah, I remember. Yeah,
and then they just get owned. And then they lose the next round because they have to save, and then they win it. But then
and then also like out of all the players that was left to like close out the eco, it was
oh
your
yes,
IGL. It was your IGL, and she actually tried her best. She like killed like 2 or 3 of the players to like try to make it come back. It was like a 1v3 or something.
Yeah,
she ends up owning, but it's like now you're the IGL, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, now you have to be the one that gets your team out of this shit position that you got put in somehow. And now you have to IGL the rest of the game. You know, like that's not a good feeling to start. And I mean, yeah, they brought it back.
And I don't actually think Thea played bad at all. To be honest, I think Thea actually did decent this tournament. I don't think I ever really looked at the map like, bro, what the fuck is Thea doing? Why are we in this defense? Why are we, doing this? Why are we doing that?
Bad situations.
Yeah, I just felt like, I mean, look, as much as we talked about them, just in general, GC's more fundamentally sound. The reason I keep bringing up the Talon thing is because, like, I watched so many Talon leads, 5v4s, just evaporate into thin air. I watched us in Champs against Vitality lose 3 5v3s in a row. I felt like that's exactly what happened.
I saw that
to FlyQuest, and that to me, and that to me was like super unfortunate. And I think they're gonna want that one back. But the story comes out of this. It's not the mistakes FlyQuest made, because the truth is, I see the tactical mistakes because I'm having PTSD from something I go through. But the pressure that Suzu put on them to force those mistakes also is something that should be mentioned.
That. Yeah,
well, especially because,
anticipate
dude,
that,
I don't know off memory. I probably should have taken better notes. But I will say this: it felt like every single one of Suzu's ults didn't happen pre-round. Mm-hmm. It was in the flow of a round. She gets the 1 or 2 she needs, then she closes the round with her ult. To me, those are the most impactful Raze rockets. Mm-hmm. It's not the ones that you have pre-barrier where you can set up where the other team should be smart enough to know.
Yeah.
It was the ones you get in the course and flow of the game that just extend your lead. And like, that is just Suzu. Because if she dies at any point before that, you may not get the same level of conversion, and you don't know what changes.
That's something I was struggling with when I was trying to learn Raze, like when Raze was like a for sure meta, even on like maps like Fracture. I don't know if you remember, like teams were running Raze a lot on that map when
Yeah.
Neon just started fading away because of the Cypher buffs and stuff like that.
Yep.
Was the timing of the utility in general, like even the nade timing is really important when you're a Raze player. Like it's kind of like you said, like yeah, you could have your preset traps and etc. But what really separates the good Raze players, other than movement, other than the satchel movement, which is extremely important as a Raze, like you got to have good rollouts and on the fly movement with them, is the timing of your nade. When do you use it? Are you gonna save it for the retake in certain scenarios?
Right.
Like that's just like game IQ, bro. Like that's and same thing with the rocket, bro. Like when you're using it, if it's not a preset thing, that's all game IQ. You know, you don't want to throw that ult away. You use it too early. Go 1 for 1 even, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of Razes that you see go 1 for 1 because it's just the opportunity of the timing just isn't worth it, you know? So all of that, like the way that you use Raze Rocket and just the kit in general, it's game IQ that separates the best Razes from, you know, the Razes that are good, you know, I should say that. Because like everyone at a high level is going to be good at the character, but the separation that what makes you great is those timings on the utility.
No, for sure. I think one of the biggest barriers for entry for Raze, you mentioned it, is satchel movement, but also grenade usage. It's not even ults. It's how well you use your nades and knowing when, hey, if I'm on attack, how do I save my nade for their retake? Especially if they're a fast flood team. If they're a fast flood team, there's nothing more. There is no better weapon you have on your team against fast floods than deadlock trips deep, Raze grenade.
Yep.
If you don't have a deadlock, your Raze grenade, you don't want to use your Raze grenade on entry, especially if you have a suspicion that they're like 4-1ing, right? And if you go into weak side, you want to be able to hold that shit so that the moment they try to fast flood, you can basically just stop one side. Because if you do that, then I mean it opens up so many new angles for you. So it's like that shit is like so hard to teach. I'm kind of lucky because Governor knows all this. Even like this is not a discussion I've had all year with him because he's already been good with the character, so I don't have to like have this discussion.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so many Razes. Like I remember when Ye was starting because we talked about it on the last episode. Like it's like you got to kind of like let them know like, oh, by the way, you could do this in this situation and you want to do it because of this, and they just like, oh shit, oh yeah, I see that.
And like I feel like there's like, and obviously this is a little tangent and we'll get back to GC, but I feel like there's like a specific map as well where you can really identify a good Raze from a great Raze, and that's Split, because you have to make the decision.
Playground. Yeah.
You have to make the decision, like especially around mid. Okay, are they just baiting my nade out? You know what I mean? And like this little game of cat and mouse, it's like, bro, like when you see a really good Raze player, you're like, wow, he didn't even use it here, bro. Like when I was first doing it for like for FaZe, when we wanted to try to run Raze, I would just blow this shit when I heard like anything, bro. Like I heard like a couple footsteps, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna throw this shit and swing. Oh wait, this team just baited out my Raze nade. I don't have it for the.
And now you don't have it. Now you're fucked.
Well, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. And then again, like then you're gonna have to know, okay, maybe I do need to nade it this time, you know? Like, and that's like again, game IQ, bro. Game IQ all day. Like
for sure. I mean, Zach to me I think Zekin is the Raze I look at, right? Like he's like the Raze on that map on Split and an APAC. Jing, obviously. But they're both so different. And that's what's so unique about that map when you bring up Raze. There's so many different styles. It's insane. Yeah. So many different styles. I remember Victor's is way different than like, you know, Asuna's, and Asuna's is different. There's just so many different styles. And you have to know them and you have to learn them and you have to take what's good. Or like the Razes that know, like I would give credit to Jing for this. He doesn't even use his nade a lot. If you look at PRX's attack, sometimes he uses his nade to just break trips. Zone clear. So like if they're on the barrier at A, he'll throw the high one over the roof so it spreads out to break all the trips under, so that when he scales right, he doesn't have to worry about the trips. Like some Razes, like they don't even use their nade for like kills or positional battles. They just go
utility.
Here's my entry path. Yeah, here's my utility. I'm gonna help my team so I can get in there and I'll just win the fight. And then he just wins the fight. And then you're just like, fuck, bro.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
It's crazy. But yeah, so now we got, Zeta, who are going on a tear. They took out Falcons.
Yeah.
And this time it was a team effort, which is kind of scary, bro. Because now it's like, okay, Suzu popped the F off. We know that she's capable of doing that. But now that's fueled everybody else on the team to just step up in a different way as well. Now, like this confidence on this team right now, it's going to be scary for whoever drops down from that upper bracket to play them.
I mean, I'll be honest, though. This next match, I think, is the finals. It's the path to the finals. Because whoever loses out of Zipto and Shopify have to play Zeta, I'm pretty sure.
Right? Yeah, they do. Is that how it works? Is it opposite?
I think it's.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're right because it's opposite sides, right? Like,
yeah. So I think
it's gonna be a banger.
If Zeta can get through that, this was always even going to be hard for FlyQuest because I think whoever won out of Zeta would of FlyQuest Zeta would also beat Falcon Zeta. But this is why, in my opinion, FlyQuest losing the first round match was so troll. Because not only would you have to play an additional 2 more games, you have to show way more stuff.
Yeah.
But also, in my opinion, Zipto beat the brakes off them on Pearl, right? But Pearl's a new map. So, technically speaking, in my opinion, this is how it always works for me. If small example, Abyss, when it came out, right? The first time we could play it was in playoffs. So what did 2 teams do? DRX and Secret, right? Who both pissed their pants against us. What did they do? They picked Abyss. Why? Because they wanted to throw a curveball because they weren't confident enough in beating us in other maps, right? So to me, Zipto did the right thing. They picked a new map, right? And they took a swing. Okay, they got it. On the other 2 maps, FlyQuest had massive leads and advantages all over the place. So, that said, I felt FlyQuest absolutely were not only the better team, but should have beaten them, especially, man, that split has so many throws, and forget that, right? But if FlyQuest get past them, they get a straight chance to basically play Shopify again. If they beat, normally they've lost to Shopify, so it was no guarantee. But if they beat Shopify, now you're in upper finals. Like, just think about the time you have to prepare for each opponent. You get from the Zipto match to Shopify, it was 4 days, 5 days. You could completely, depending on the team, overhaul an entire system.
Yeah.
You could literally go, okay, this is what we showed. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Bro, you could even do comp change. You could do all that stuff. Like, your talent, you're going to get hit with the sauce, right?
And to be fair, I feel like FlyQuest, especially because of Jovi, is a team that can run multiple comps on
100%.
on a
bro,
map. So,
100p.
Yeah.
So this is why that opening match is so important, because instead of that scenario where you just talked about having more days, more prep, blah, 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 they have to play immediately. The 10th, the 11th. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that point, going through the loser's grind, even Zeta, this is why I feel bad for Zeta, because most of the tricks are out of the bag now. Shopify, obviously, or Zipto, I would imagine, but Shopify especially. Could you imagine? Let's say Shopify loses. I don't think I don't think Zeta has a snowball's chance in hell to beat a team like this, because in order to beat them, you have to surprise them. But you can't surprise them anymore. They've seen you play 3 series almost in back to back to back.
It's going to be tough. With
almost no time now to overhaul your system or add real changes. I mean, you could do little small things. Those players are too smart. Now, I'm not sure they're going to lose to Zipto, but if that were to happen, you can see a world where Zeta's just cooked. And then Zipto, I think they'll still beat Zeta anyway. So it's like...
I would actually want to see that matchup.
Right,
just
right. Because Suzu might be able to
be a banger, bro. Like,
sure.
They definitely have experience scrimming each other too, because it's APAC region in general,
Right.
I think that would
But
be
if you
such a
listen
fun
to
game to
Zeta's
watch.
coach, they have a hard time handling speed and pace.
Yeah. Zipto's
Which-
gonna put that pace on you, bro.
That's so
Yeah.
unlucky, bro. But yeah, so it's like I think the format. I think this format is good, but I think this format is not forgiving for opening round losses because, like, Zeta went from losing a crew to having one day, and then playing, and then that is tough, bro. That's
It's
tough.
nonstop. It's like if you get to the lower bracket, you play every single day. Like
Pretty much.
You
It's
literally,
fucked.
you do. There is no break. You play
It's-
every day till the final.
That's
That's how it works, bro.
It's
crazy.
so tough, bro. So no matter what for FlyQuest, even if they won, this would have been like this is a death pill here.
Yeah.
Because look at the other side. Crew's gonna play either one of G2 or MIBR. Yeah, good luck with that, bro. Good luck with that, bro.
I don't know. I wonder like who they would prefer in this case. I would probably say G2 is probably who they would prefer.
Yeah, because it was close. I mean,
it was close, right?
Crew's good enough that they're gonna make a battle. But again, it goes back to you're not catching them off guard. They've seen a lot. They've seen you play. You don't have a lot of time to adapt. I mean, they get like 2 days, but like, dude, it's not enough. Not if you're not used to doing that stuff. And even if you are, most of the time for a fresh install, even on my team, which is by far the most flexible team in the world at the moment, maybe minus Heretics. Heretics might be the most, right?
But that's because they got 5. We already talked about this. They have 5 players that just have extremely high game IQ.
Right,
that can
right.
do anything.
So like maybe that team is the one, but outside of them, we're like next for like being that flexible. You still want 3 days at least, right?
Yeah. Maybe just dry run certain things.
Yeah. Like you want 3 days. Like there's a methodology we have to it, which we recycle. You still want 3 days. So doing it on 1 or 2 days, I just don't think it's feasible. And this is what makes, I think, the battle for like Cruz and Zeta so hard because you are what you are at this point, and now you're going against typically higher IQ player. I feel like we could say this: G2 and Shopify are in the tournament, especially from what's available. They're the highest IQ teams available in the tournament, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
So then it's safe for us to assume that you're not just going to like confuse them or like you're not going to be able to surprise them now that they've seen you play 2 or more games, 2 or more series back to back like this. And, their coaching staffs and obviously their IGLs should have a pretty good idea now of what you do, what your beats are. Like they should have already formulated some sort of game plan on, hey, here's how we're going to play them, da-da-da-da-da. And if you're the underdog team and you don't have something up your sleeve, that's a problem. And it's harder coming from loser's side to throw those curveballs. It's much easier because you have more time on winner's side. So I feel like no matter what, Zeta and Crew are in a world of hurt because the top 4 teams left on like in the uppers, they're so good.
Crazy.
MIBR is so good.
I know.
So good.
I don't like. Who do you think's gonna win with this G2 MIBR, dude?
I'll be honest. I think that's a toss up because
I'm kind of leaning MIBR, but it is a toss up for sure.
Right, because if Crew can play G2 goes in that close, MIBR should be respected enough that everyone should be like, man, maybe that'll be close too, and that's all you need.
Yeah, dude. Like if I'm at my BR and I watch G2's game, because I'm sure like going into this, you look at the names on that G2 roster, bro, and you're like, what? You know what I mean? Like Banya coming over to G2, all this stuff. Yeah, it's kind of freaky, bro. But then if you see a team that has a bunch of big names, kind of like not look as dominant, like back to what I was saying earlier, that in itself is gonna give you confidence. Yo, they're beatable, bro. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, if you're any of these teams and you watch Shopify play after even watching them win last year, and then you see them come here and still dominate their first game, like it wasn't even close. I mean, it's different. It's night and day because one team now seems like they're actually beatable. You can do this, and the other team is still just on this crazy tear that they haven't stopped from even last year, right? So it's like the tournament form matters so much to just because you can almost win a match sometimes before even stepping into the server, bro.
Right. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, by the way, this is not to take anything away from G2 because I have a lot of respect for Petra and Mimi.
100%.
I think they're really good. So I'm not familiar with the two Turkish players. I have to be completely honest. And Amy is yeah,
she was insane.
Yeah. I've heard, but you know, the whole Shaq meme. Yo, my bad. I'm not like I didn't know your game. My bad. But
yeah.
I've just been impressed by MIBR. And don't forget, this is the MIBR. I'm pretty sure that B Team Liquid and Bastard, who you already know what I think about Bastard.
Yeah.
That girl is nuts.
Liquid, and that Liquid team is nuts too.
Right. Nuts. So for them to do that
multiple times, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Twice back to back.
2-1, 3-1, right?
Yeah.
Dude. And Sayuri to me is like also very good. So I'm with you. I think that one is I think that is probably going to be the best game of the tournament. Like now from this set, I think they took a day or two break or something.
It's nonstop. But yeah, whoever wins that gets a
for sure. I think
like
that
from both sides in the upper, whoever wins gets a day off.
Yeah. I think any single bet that isn't a push is kind of tough for the G2 MIBR. I think Shopify to me,
I think they win that.
Massive advantage because high IQ, high mechanical ceiling, which means, well, yeah, they can handle the speed because Mel's smart. So the speed isn't going to confuse her like it did Zeta, right? Like if Zeta's players and coaches were thrown off by FlyQuest's pace, I promise you Shopify is not going to be thrown off by Zipto. And Zipto, from what I saw when they went slower, when the rounds weren't ablaze, I'm not sure they have enough. Like, small example, rarely saw them fake, never saw a double fake out of Zipto. Never. So I'm not really sure Mel's going to like stumble if you're giving her, same defaults, same beats and timings on your hits and executes, fast-paced plays off barrier. She's been doing this shit too long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, she has. Yeah, she knows it all, bro.
Like she needs to kind of hit him with some FNS, like what he used to do on fucking on Fracture, double fakes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
That's what you need to be doing.
We used to run those plays, bro. Trust me, I know the double fakes, bro.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure if Zipto comes with the same sort of like game plan that they had with FlyQuest, that they're gonna have much success. So I'm with you. I think Shopify should easily clear. Well, then that means Zipto plays Zeta. I think Zipto wins that. The top is so close. I mean, I'm almost leaning towards MIBR. Straight up. So I think I'll go with MIBR. I think I'm going to beat G2.
I kind of am too, but that's not because we're giving disrespect to G2.
No.
I just think that if G2 play the same way they played in the last match, then yeah, I see MIBR taking it. But like also if G2 was just like, okay, first match, nerves or whatever, maybe getting adjusted. But actually, I don't know if they're playing on the same stage. They should already be adjusted, right? Time zone wise, technically.
Yeah, no. I mean, they are, bro. Yeah. They're the most experienced team. I feel like they have so many advantages. But I'll be honest, I'm talking about the mechanical difference between MIBR and Crew. MIBR, to be Liquid twice, back-to-back best of threes cannot be understated.
No, and BO3 to BO5, by the way. BO3 to BO5.
How good mechanically Team Liquid is. For MIBR to just sun them means they're different. And to me, that's what I saw. I did not see macro problems from G2. It was really just, Crew has a lot of talented players that took pretty decent one-on-ones, came up on the 50-50s a lot, and it is what it is. And if Crew could do that to you, MIBR is going to do that to you, but MIB exactly. And this is my fear.
Yeah.
This to me is the fear. This is similar to, just what we talk about all the time, macro teams versus micro teams. Micro teams will always have the ability to just be better than you on that day and just outpace and outshoot you. That doesn't mean they're better than you if you were to play another 10 more times.
Yeah.
Right? So this is, to me, that's a trap game for G2 goes in. If G2 goes in, obviously wins 2-0 convincingly, fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised, let's say. Like, I'm not going to be, like, shocked if they actually dominate. What I am saying is I'm not going to underestimate MIBR, and I actually think this is a good opportunity for MIBR to come out on top. And if they do, then I think you'll see the run back with G2 and crew. I think G2 is going to put them away this time cleaner because now they know they're under pressure on the fire. They have too much experience because when you're in uppers, you don't have the pressure of lose or go home, right? Like, I think, small tangent, small example, if you think about our run at Champs, right? We played better versus Leviathan than we did Vitality.
Yeah.
But why I think that happened was simply because we played our worst when we knew it was lose or go home.
Yeah, way more
That's
pressure.
how we threw 5
way
victories,
more pressure.
Right? So by this logic that, most teams have experienced in esports, I think crew's in a real fucked up position because, normally you would say, it's really hard to beat a team twice in the same tournament. That's like been my thing. But when a team is this experienced, I think that they are more prepared to play a loser go home situation than crew.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I think G2, if they lose, they're better off. Funny enough, I think if MIBR lose, they're not. Because to my knowledge, this is the first time, this is like the first true international land these players have been to. So then I think the crew versus MIBR matchup is a coin flip. Who shows up better on the day? Mm-hmm. And I think no matter who ends up on Zeta's side, they're going to get bopped. They're going to bop Zeta. This is no disrespect to Zeta or Suzu, but it would require another Herculean performance.
Yeah, with the other players also pulling their weight too. Not just, it can't just be her. Not against this caliber of teams now. You know what I mean?
Yep. And so then I pretty much think that you're looking at Shopify versus either G2 or MIBR in grand finals. And this is no disrespect to Zip, though. I feel like, PRX is a very good example here. It's supremely difficult to play what Zipto's going to end up playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before grand finals. 5 series before grand finals. You know what it's like to go Smeeg it for 5 games on LAN in a row? You know how hard that shit is?
I bet, bro. I haven't been able to go to LAN. I wish I fucking could have, bro.
Right.
But yeah, I can imagine how it would be. I had to do it like a whole tournament long and through the lowest bracket too. It gets
right.
It gets damning, bro. Like, because if you're not on,
exactly,
and all it takes one. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think this is the problem with teams built like this: is if you don't have the fundamentals and don't have the macro to back it, you can't just steal one of these games.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my problem. So I feel like ultimately, no disrespect to Zipto, but I think if they end up in losers and they have to still play 2 more games after, the longevity of being able to make it back to grand finals, I think, becomes so difficult. However, if they do beat Shopify here, I think they can go all the way to grand finals because, momentum. I mean, it goes back to what we saw just this champs, right? How much momentum can carry. And so, yeah, I think this upper finals is going to be really interesting. I mean, this upper finals is better than most of the group stages or in some of the playoff matches we saw at champs, actually.
I agree. I think I'd agree with that. And I'm fucking, excuse me. Wait, I can swear on this. I'm sorry. I'm not on the not on the NRG podcast. I could swear here. I forgot, bro.
I
I'm
saw
getting-
you make the
I'm getting-
mistake. I saw
Yeah.
you make the mistake this week. By the way, that episode was funny.
I'm getting PR. I gotta go through my PR training
PTSD?
again, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Bro, I thought the Mata, just on the small thing, I thought the Mata thing where he didn't realize that his name was spelled backwards when he inverted the thing. I thought that shit was so funny.
bro,
I legit laughed out loud for like a good 2 minutes, bro.
bro, that's how you know he's gonna be a good duelist, though, bro. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know exactly what you meant by that.
You need someone. You need someone like that.
Yeah, you need that.
I didn't see
don't
that
know
clip.
if He
Did he go
caught that
like?
right away?
Did he go like? Am I Adam?
Oh, you
or
gotta watch
something?
it. I'll send it to you. Yeah,
I
he
sent
didn't
it to him.
realize that. Yeah, but
I saw it go. Like,
Everyone is
before we
cooking 'em.
recorded, So yeah.
yeah, FNS was looking at him like. You can tell
Yeah,
FNS
bro.
was like contemplating his life choices when he said that.
By the way, FNS is so he's so funny when he does these like
That
little
shit was so
mannerisms that he
funny, bro.
has, bro. Because
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's just hilarious, bro. But okay, so closing thoughts for GC. Who do you think's gonna take it home? Because by the time we do the next Spike Talk, the GC will probably be done by then. So we might as well just put up some predictions. For me.
For sure, I think Shopify. I think the only team I
going
thought
Shopify.
that maybe could have, or the
All right.
only two teams I
What do
think
you
that
think
maybe
the final's gonna be? What do you think the final's gonna be? We'll say that.
Shopify and my BR.
Okay, so my brain is telling me that 100%, and I would 100% agree with you. But I'll just give a hot take. I think my hot take is gonna be Shopify Zeta, bro. I don't know how. You know, maybe a miracle EDG
I mean,
run,
my heart
bro.
says G2, but I just feel like, man, these aimers out here are just nuts, bro.
I know, dude. I know.
But yeah, I mean, Zeta, bro. If Suzu does that,
Who knows? Like, right?
She basically becomes like Flor.
Yeah,
Everything
literally.
is like, who's better, Flor or
Suzu.
because I'll say this. Let's say they do make that finals, and even if they lose, you can't outright say anymore that Flor is by far the best player in GC because Flor also has an amazing team around her.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. Good support systems and fundamental IGLing from Mel.
And no disrespect to Zeta, but I think we can all agree that position by position, Shopify is superior to Zeta. So if Suzu can backpack them all the way to a grand finals, even if they lose to Flor, I don't think GC is like the Flor show anymore. I think everybody has to be like, damn, if you were building around one duelist, who would you pick? And it pretty much has to be a real discussion about Suzu and Flor. Because for Zeta to make a grand finals, it would have to be the most insane individual performance. It would, in my opinion, rival Can at champs and probably be better, actually, because she doesn't have a Simon. And I thought Simon was their best player this tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the most impact frags, everybody knows Can, when you needed a round, when you needed a bucket, he got it.
He was going to get it, yeah.
For sure. And I'm not taking that away from him. That's why he was absolutely deserving of being MVP and all that stuff, and that's cool. But for Suzu to do what she's about to do, she's going to have to pull an even better performance than what Can pulled in champs. And if that were to happen, now we have the rivalry that everybody wants to see, right? Like you actually have a 1-2. You have your Kobe Bryant versus LeBron James, or your, Steph Curry versus LeBron James in GC. I don't think it'll happen because I think it's just too hard. I think it's too hard for anyone, including Aspaz, as you saw.
Yeah. To
just
1v5.
Right. And I know the narrative is that's what Can did, but
Not
you
really.
and me had two episodes
not
that talked
really,
about
yeah.
this. Yeah. Simon is grossly underrated here. Right? So man, it would be special. And then Boy would just be a prophet because Boy called it. And I'm telling you, Boy called this shit in January. So shout out to Aaron.
Yeah, we gotta get Aaron back.
Shout out to Aaron because he called her. He knew. So we'll see. But I think MIBR is just aim wise.
I'm excited to watch this next
Damn.
game. That's for sure. I think it goes on tonight for us, or like tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
for
and
us.
I'm hoping I eat crow.
That'd be
I'm
sick.
hoping I look like an idiot and G2 just shuts me the fuck up, makes it all the way to the finals because I feel like they're being disrespected, including by me. But it's only because I've experienced what just a full team of aimers can do to you now. Like
a little too much, huh? A little too much.
Valorant is just one. It's just it's hard,
different,
bro.
It's a different game.
You have all the game IQ in the world, but when you get a headshot by Primi or like fucking Trex or Safer,
bro, 100%.
What are you gonna do, bro?
It's like this one. I think I talked about it like probably a couple months ago. It's like when I had this match against FNS, we were playing Icebox, and all I did was hit A. Bro, he did what he could. He sent 4 people on A site. Brother, I was going there with Corey. We were killing everybody. Yeah. And he was retake. He's like, what am I supposed to just play 5-man A? You know, like, and would that have even been enough? Maybe not, bro. You know, like,
right. And that's the struggle in Valorant as opposed to any other game that I've been in.
Yeah.
Is momentum and form matters so much more. I think, though, I'll say this. People in CS2 are beginning to have this problem with CS2. CS2 is beginning to mimic Valorant again.
The movement's weird, bro. Like I just started I re-download. Oh yeah, we played together, bro. Yeah. We played together. Yeah, the movement feels oddly similar in a way. Like it's interesting.
But it's just the way things are constructed and stuff, like the ability to nade smokes, clear it, and
it's faster.
Right. So, and I think it's giving a lot I'll give you an example which the only reason we're talking about this so heavily is because I think it heavily relates to Valorant. Right now in CS, the meta, especially on CT side, is literally dry swinging and fighting. It's actually funny. The tactical prowess that CS players have been known for doesn't really exist. The game just seems to be all like duels, which is why players like Donk are like absolutely destroying people. Right? Because when you have guys that can just basically win their duels as consistently, it's like, me having Primi. That's a fucking huge advantage when a game is like suited toward this style, right? And I think Valorant at the moment, in my opinion, I think most of the maps, like if you think of Ascent is pretty much figured out, right? It's like chess, right? Like, chess has been around for so long, the game's already figured out. People know what the optimal strategies are, most of, optimal starting positions, how you want to defend or attack middle, how you want to, all that stuff, right? I feel like Ascent is like that too. The game is so figured out. Don't you agree that now it's about individual performances and who could just take over? It's not even about X's and O's as much.
Yeah, and also it might just come down to the individual's experience playing against said team. You know what I mean? Like, have they played against this team a bunch of times before in the past, and they know, okay, maybe this is the opening that I've seen in scrims before. Like, that's where it's gone. It comes down to even just micro shit like that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, this guy plays this spot, and I punished him one time in scrims. I didn't show him that again, and now I'm going to use that in this match now. And that might snowball us to get a fucking 5-round lead on attack side. And 5 rounds is phenomenal if you're playing a set attack, right? Because that map is so defensive sided. What I was really when I was watching what team was it, bro? I think it may have been Loud with Ospas on it still. I was really impressed by the way that Sadhak called, because a lot of teams on their attacking side, they'll work the map, they'll work mid, etc. He had this game plan in one of the matches that I saw, and I don't remember who it was against. I know they ended up winning it. I think maybe it was against Crew, and Crew were really good at Ascent at the time. I think they were on that crazy streak where they were owning everybody. Sadhak was calling this super exec heavy game plan, and I was like, wow, I never really seen team start off the rip just running 5-man execs but it wasn't off barrier. They weren't running it down. It was kind of just start 4-1 and then just red wall and not show any map control anywhere. Maybe they would throw a smoke mid or something like that, something like that. Maybe a smoke and a dart. But then they would just death ball up and just exec. And then he switched the pace halfway through the half when they already had a huge lead to just wait now, because he knew that the other team were going to be hella antsy and try to overcompensate for the fact that they already had 4 rounds in the bag going into the 5th gun round. It was that to me was wow, that's a unique approach to a game plan on a map like Ascent that I didn't really see a lot of teams doing. Because other than that, it was just, oh, we're going to KO knife A main, we're going to take the orb, we're going to work mid with drone or whatever it may be,
right. That's actually our game plan versus DRX during the season. Funny that you say this. That's exactly what we did.
It's cool. It's cool. It's but that's that's as creative as Ascent gets. You know, it's like it's,
No, right? Yeah. Because you're like,
Like-
out metaing the meta, where like it's mid control into side pop into split.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all your attack options are, right?
Yeah.
Most people don't do what you said, which is you start the game basically 5-0 hitting, and then you counter the 5-0 hits by
risky.
making them try to run
it's
at you.
risky
Yeah.
as fuck though,
For
because bro,
sure.
if you do the
For sure.
5-man hits and you just get stuffed by the defense site setup,
Then they
fuck.
start cheating more.
Oh,
Because they're
fuck,
like,
buddy.
oh, you're not going to run now. I can leave one sentinel here. Now we have heavy mid. Now we mid trap you, and now you're fucking cooked,
And
right?
now you're getting 10-2'd, bro. You know, 9-3
Right.
if you're lucky, bro. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, that's it. I mean, that's a wrap on this episode. I think we were gonna talk about the Koi match, but nah, we'll keep this one about GC. We'll talk about that Koi match in the future. It was only a BO1 anyway. I will say, hella dope crowd.
Yeah, this
Hella
off season
dope
is
crowd.
pretty dead right now.
Yeah.
Now that the off season, you know, all the roster moves happen and shit, there's not really much. We'll go back to probably finding guests for the next few episodes. My sleep schedule is cooked, bro. When I tell you,
Fix that shit, bro.
I've been
You're gonna be traveling again
life
soon,
is
huh?
so hard,
Korea?
bro.
Korea in December, huh?
Yeah, I report back the 23rd.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm in LA the 19th, and then I go back to 23rd, and fuck it, we
Right.
ball.
Yeah, I know we just
Oh,
got
yeah.
back, and this is going to be a little bit of a bonus for everybody. But the next couple weeks are just going to be a little weird with the holiday and travel. But we'll do the best we can to get back to you ASAP.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can get another emergency podcast if something crazy pops up, or maybe just get like an hour in. But yeah, if we don't, you know, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm sure we're gonna get one in December, a pod out in December for sure. Maybe
Oh
even
yeah,
late
for
November.
sure,
We'll
for
be
sure,
fine.
for sure. We should.
Oh, yeah.
there.
Happy Thanksgiving to all those, you know. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode of GC and Spike Talk, and you know, drop a comment below if you guys want any type of guest or anything special that you would like, you know, so or that you'd like us to talk about. And yeah, thank you guys.